Okay, so this is your notes for Monday, September 11th. It does say 9/11, it's because it's September 11th. These are notes for solving equations. This time we're going to solve them with algebra tiles, which you'll see in a second, and with word problems. So, just so you know, this is your first set of 2 pages of notes. So, we'll be completing this page today and this page also today in this video. This page does not have a title on it like saying notes for Monday, September 11th, because it's just a continuation. So if you ever see some notes like that, it's because it is just like the second page for whatever you were supposed to watch that day, okay? So for the first one, it says, so first of all these questions on here are all word problems. Lucky for you, you get some answer choices here, so you don't have to think too hard on your own. It can kind of guide you. By the end of the question down there, we're going to have to write the equation ourselves. So, let's start. I always get highlighters. I have highlighters in my room. They're underneath my journal buckets. It's in a pull-out bin thing. You can get highlighters for this if you would like. I like highlighters because it helps me kind of like see what I'm reading a little bit more. So, it says 2 8th grade classes are selling raffle tickets to raise money. One class is selling tickets for $2.50 each. That's probably important. I can tell because I see some $2.50 down there in the answer choices. And it says they have already raised $350. Cool. The second class is selling tickets for $3 each, and they've already raised $225. Okay, so they haven't raised as much money, but their tickets are going to be selling more. So it kind of like balances it out, I guess. It says which equation can be used to find t. They use t, I guess, for the variable, which is the number of tickets each class has to sell, so that the total amount for this raised is the same for both classes. So the word same in math always it means equals, right? Same means equals. Here's some other things. Of course, you raise money, which means it goes up with your money. So this is probably like adding some money. So you have to really kind of already see those words and think plus, minus, whatever. And then also it has $2.50 each ticket, $3 each ticket, and it does not tell us how many tickets they sell. It says T, the number of tickets, which means we don't know it. T is now our mystery number. So whenever you see this word each, like this is usually telling you you are multiplying times a number. All right. However, our number just so happens to be unknown. Our number happens to be the mystery number T. So I'm probably going to have $2.50 times T. That is my little T right there. It's not a plus sign. $2.50 plus or times T. I say multiply because that's what each means. And then it says they already raised $350. So let's go ahead and use a plus $350 on that one. So I'm just kind of writing this stuff down. The next one down here says $3 each ticket. So I'm going to go ahead and write a 3T like that because it is per ticket. And then a plus sign because they already raised $250. So whatever they would have raised for the selling of the tickets, it's going to be added to the $225 that they already have. Which means that I can look in down here and see which one is exactly like I have. And I see this one, C. I also see the equal sign in the middle of 250t plus 350, which is what I wrote here and here, because it said that they wanted the classes to be the same. So they wanted one class to be the same as the other class, which means equals. So there's our answer. Okay, let's keep going. This one says Helen had a $330 savings account, or in her savings account. So I can tell that that's an important number because all my answer choices has $330. It says when Vince opened, or that's what she had when Vince opened his savings account with $0. So he didn't start off with money. She already has money though. It says Helen deposited $30 into her account each week. That's probably important. I remember the word each in the question before usually means multiply. Then it says for X weeks. So how many weeks? It doesn't tell us. X is our mystery number. It says that Vince deposits $50, which is a little more than Helen, but that's okay because Vince starts with 0 each week for X weeks also. We still don't know. So first of all, we have Helen, who has $330, oh gosh, in her savings account. She's adding $30 per week, so we can say X because it's each week. And it said X week, so I don't know how many numbers that is. And then we have Vince over here who who starts off with 0, and he adds $50 per week, which we don't know how many weeks. And then it says which inequality, so it's a little bit different than an equation because it doesn't have an equal sign. It has one of those little inequality symbols or alligator mouths, the less than or the greater than. It says which one represents the situation when the amount of money Helen has is greater than the amount of money that Vince has. So these are Helen's numbers over here. These are Vince's numbers over here. And we want Helen's to be greater than Vince's. So the only thing I don't see is the fact that I don't see a 0. 0 plus the number, which probably makes sense because we didn't actually have to write 0 plus 50. Everything could be plus 0 if we wanted to. So I'm going to kind of scratch this off. Now the other thing is, I still don't see the answer written like I have it. This is the reason. D or J down here is actually the same exact thing that I wrote, just in the backwards format. Like I basically switched everything around. The alligator mouth is still eating Helen's numbers, and Helen's numbers are 330 plus 30x, which is 330 plus 30x, and then Vince's numbers are 50x. So there we go on that one. That is the answer. Let's keep going. The aquarium 1 contains 4.6 gallons of water. That's how much it has. Luis will be filling the aquarium at a rate of 1.2 gallons per minute. So in the other questions, we have this word each. However, in this question, we have this word per. Each, per, and every are the words that usually tell us we need to multiply. So it doesn't tell us how many minutes, but it does tell us how much gallons per minute, okay? It also tells us how much she starts with, and it uses the word filling. Filling means going up. That is probably an addition problem, okay? The next one says the second aquarium contains 54.6 gallons of water, and then Isaac is going to be draining. Ooh, draining is also important because draining means you're going down. You're not going up, you're going down. So it makes sense because he had more water in his aquarium than that girl did. So we had filling and draining. His rate is 0.8 gallons per minute. And again, I see that per, and it still doesn't tell me how many minutes. Oh, just kidding. It says after how many minutes, so that's why it doesn't tell us how many minutes, because that's our question. We're trying to figure out how many minutes. I think I found my variable. I think I found my missing piece, my mystery number. I'm going to go ahead and call it M for minutes. So we're looking for how many minutes will both aquariums contain the same amount. Let's highlight the word same. I know that same means equal. So first of all, I'm going to have to put an equal sign in between my two equations. Aquarium 1 starts with 4.6 gallons and is filling at a rate of 1.2 gallon per minute. So the words that I said just now is exactly this. It's just written in a math little problem, okay? Started with 4.6, was filling by 1.2 minutes, or per minute. Then we move on to the second aquarium, starts with 54.6, drains at a rate of 0.8 per minute, which we don't know, and that's our equation. However, it wasn't looking for an equation, it was looking for the actual number. That's the reason we make equations, so we can figure out the actual number. There's a couple different ways you can solve this. Of course, you can plug in the answers. You can work it out algebraically, or you can use your calculator, the calculator trick. It also works. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to type in menu 3.1, our equation solver, 4.6 plus 1.2, and actually use the M. I could technically change it to an X if I wanted to. I just have to change everything to an X. Equals 54.6 minus 0.8 M. And before I press enter, I have to put comma M. So I have to put comma and then M. Yes, this is weird because it says M, comma M, but don't get confused. It was because I had the M on this little last piece right here. So I still have to put comma M again. Press enter and the answer is 25, and that is C. Okay, that was the first page. The second page actually goes a little quicker because we have these things called algebra tiles. And algebra tiles look like, let's see if I can see them. They look like these things. These are algebra tiles. So if you were playing with these in real life, you might notice that the backs are red, the fronts are green on these on the bars, and on the little squares, these are called units, like they represent just one. The front is yellow-ish, whatever, and the back is red, okay? If you want to guess what the red stands for, I bet you can guess. They stand for negatives, okay? So what happens is you have either positives like these, or you have negatives in the red. The other thing is the bars represent a mystery number, okay? I can count how many little squares there are, but I can't actually count how long this is because there's no measurements. So these represent X, which is our variable, and these represent constant numbers, which are usually like the +5 or whatever in our equations. So what you're going to draw on this little area right here is the fact that the bars are the X's. If you ever see a bar that is shaded in or gray or usually a different color, it is a negative X. Luckily for you, they tell you most of the time if it's going to be positive or negative. How like these down here went ahead and said positive, but these down here went ahead and said negative. So it tells you sometimes, but just know that if you have clear or empty ones or shaded in ones, the shaded in are the negatives. And then you have the little squares. These are just the units. You count them. One unit would be like an empty one, same thing as this, except it is a number 1. A box like this that is shaded is a negative 1. So you use these pictures to model equations to show you what they look like. And so we're going to use this picture to write an equation. Okay. So first thing I see are these 3 X's right here. And the next thing I see are 2 little 1s. So I'm going to say +2. The line in the middle represents your equal sign. It kind of shows you the different sides of the equations. And then we only have 1 X on this side. They're not negatives, even though they're like shaded. These are darker shaded. I guess that's why. But it actually tells you when they're negatives on this one. So I wrote 1X. My 1 is invisible, by the way. And then the negatives, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is -6 because there are 6 negative 1s. Okay, that's the equation that goes along with this representation. You can type this in your calculator and solve to get the answer if you needed to. We don't need to. But down here, we're going to try one more example. And then it actually is going to ask us what is the value of X that makes the equation true, which just means that we're going to solve it. We're going to figure out the answer. So we have 3 of these negative X's. So I'm going to say -3X. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of the 1s. So I'm going to say +10. Then we have the equal sign. So I'm just going to kind of scoot it over this way. We have 5 X's here, and they are not shaded. They're positive. So I'm going to say equals 5X. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 negative 1s. So I'm going to say -8. Okay, that is our equation. Here is our equation solver. Menu 3-1 is the code. That is a negative with the actual negative button. 3X plus 10 equals 5X minus 8. Before I press enter, I have to put comma X. It'll tell me, the calculator, to find the letter that I want. And the answer for this is 2.25. The end.